Hey guys, my name is Jeff Rojas and I'm a professional portrait and fashion photographer based out of New York City. Like many of you, I love cinematic quality lighting, but for a long time, I didn't know how to replicate that. Now that I've had a couple years shooting, what I realized is the only difference between cinematic lighting and photography lighting is this, and that's purpose. Most cinematographers are giving their light a purpose beyond lighting the face. They're thinking about where that light's coming from. What's the color temperature of the light? What's the intensity of the light? What's the direction of the light? It ultimately has a purpose. Now, most photographers will generally bring a light on set, light the subject, and kind of think about the background. But if you're trying to replicate cinematic quality lighting, you really need to incorporate the two together. This is especially true if you're trying to mix strobe and ambient light. Here's my story. I was recently hired by a client to produce a shoot in a very David Bowie inspired room. Now there's three main sources of light in that room. I have a window light, a small table lamp, and my overhead light, which leaves me with mixed light, two different color temperatures in that room. So I want to reduce or eliminate one of those. I decide to eliminate the window light. Now that leaves me with two small light sources in the room, which don't necessarily complement my subject's features as best as possible. So I decide to throw a strobe in there. The light that I decide to use in that small room is a Photix Indra 360. It's super light and has a very small footprint, so I can move it anywhere around that room and it fits perfectly. Now, the lighting modifier that I decided to use is a Photix Luna Octa Softbox, which is extremely soft and also very directional. Now, adding a strobe into the room, I have a different color temperature than I do with the two tungsten lights. So I need to balance my strobe light by adding a tungsten gel to make sure that all the lights are correctly balanced with one another. So I want to replicate the light coming from that small table lamp. So I position my light in a way where it's creating short light on my subject and it's wrapping around enough to accentuate his features. So I don't have those dark shadows that I did before. Now, if I had chose to take that light, position it so it's directly in front of my subject, you'll know that there's a strobe and that's not going to be cinematic quality lighting. Again, if you're trying to create cinematic quality lighting, you want to use a motivation of light. So positioning that light where it replicates that small table lamp is giving my light a definitive purpose. So if you're trying to replicate this at home, think about where your light's coming from. Think about the direction of light, the quality of light, the power of light, the color temperature of light. Ultimately, you want to make sure that all of those play into a key factor of how you're positioning your light. You don't just want to walk on location, throw a light and wish for the best. Give your light purpose, give your light motivation.